thanks for stopping in. This week, I'm going to be going over the 4 worst handguns, in my opinion, that I have ever owned, or at least had some kind of extensive trigger time behind. If you guys got any horror stories, put it in the comments below. I enjoy those things. So before I get into this, I would like to say that every gun company has had a fluke of some kind, whether it's poor marketing, bad design, or just cheap materials. It happens. Like, shit happens. So I just want to say, if a particular product is on this list, that doesn't necessarily mean that that company is bad. Mostly. That being said, let's get into it. These aren't in any particular order except for the last one I will get to. I really dislike that one. So, starting off, just did a video on it. The FMK 9C1 G2. I'll put a picture up here. If you want to know more, just look at my last video. But until I get that thing back from the company and it works, it is staying on this list. Next gun. What kind of worst gun list would it be without a Kel-Tec being on the list? So the Kel-Tec P17. Pros. I don't have any for it. It's 22 LR. It's unreliable. The best way to describe it is, you know that coworker you know exists by name only? You've never seen them because they're never there, and yet somehow they remain employed. This gun is that person. Unreliable, and yet it still continues to exist, if only to steal your oxygen and take your lunch when nobody's looking. It's like somebody was almost challenged to make a gun out of recycled Red Bull cans and spare parts you had on your workbench, and meanwhile they were only being fueled by cocaine and Go-Gurt. It's a pretty good way to describe it. Innovation is often key in firearm design, well, in really designing anything new. And Kel-Tec has continued to do that. It's just, I wish their overall execution of it was better, because some of their ideas are pretty cool. It's just, when the final product gets out there, it's unreliable and it feels like it was made out of pot metal and plastic. Next on the list. If you guys been paying attention recently, because this company just came out with the second generation of it, you probably guessed that this was on here. But the Remington R51, the Gen 1 or Gen 2. The Gen 2 was supposed to solve a lot of the issues, but it didn't really. It's supposed to be a 9mm handgun. I'll put the picture. It's very weird. So the pros, I can say it at least looks kind of neat. It kind of has a Makarov-esque inspired looks, in my opinion. And another pro is you won't spend too much money on ammo because, like communism, it doesn't actually work. It's got poor design. It uses a recoil system that was designed well over 100 years ago for 380s. So it's an issue there. It's a malfunction machine. It's got more failures to eject than a kamikaze pilot during World War II. They somehow managed to make a trigger that is light and crisp, yet somehow still completely sucks. It's kind of amazing. There's no audible or tactile reset to it, so you don't even know if the trigger's back in battery half the time. Real piece of garbage. The grip safety on the back of it will often tear the shit out of your hands, because typically what happens is as you fire it, it'll pull out, and then it kind of grabs the webbing right here between your thumb and forefinger and then yanks it into the gun, just tearing the shit out of your hands. So, this is, some people probably gonna be wondering why this one is worse off than the others. And it's probably a little bit of a personal opinion, but the Sky or STCY CPX2 in 9mm. Pros. Goes bang. Cons, It's got the worst double action trigger I've ever used. It feels like you're squeezing on a pillow connected to a wet sandbag, and there's not really anything it's connected to. There's no tactile or audible trigger reset except for the trigger going all the way forward to where it originally was, making a double action pistol pretty much borderline useless. The stippling and or checkering, whatever you want to refer to it as, I'd say it was too aggressive. There were sharp edges on it due to the poor finish, making it very unpleasant to shoot due to the small grip on it. The magazines themselves felt cheap and far lighter than they should be for a metal frame magazine. It feels like the gun is a solid D+ student. And yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's a D+ student, and the only reason it has that D+ is because the teacher felt bad about its home life. This is one of the ones I owned. I also owned Kel-Tec P17 for a little bit, and the FMK. I did not own the R51, but I have a buddy who had one, and I tried to run a lot of ammo through it because it was kind of like an anomaly how badly designed that thing was, so I was trying to figure it out. But the Sky CPX2, it was a budget gun. I saw reviews. People kept saying it was way better than they ever expected and a lot of it. So I was like, okay, for like I think I paid $140 for it at a pawn shop like 2 or 3 years ago. And so I took the gamble on it. And I remember it didn't feel bad in my hands at first. For like a $140 gun, felt great. But then all of that, the honeymoon phase is gone as soon as you first pull that trigger, and it's just completely down the drain from there. So that being said, quick video. Those are my 4-worst handguns. If you guys got any other ones that you want to talk about, totally put in the comments below. I enjoy hearing that stuff. Thank you for checking in this week. I've been trying to put out more content regularly for you guys because some of you enjoy it. But yeah, that's it. So thanks for checking in. Have a good one, guys.